While Washington threatened a devastating 25% border tariff, Mark Carney didn't just ignore Donald Trump. He quietly flew to Australia to lock down a $25 billion war chest and target $7 trillion in superannuation funds to bypass the U.S. market completely. The media wanted panic. They wanted him to show weakness. Instead, during a tense press conference in Canberra, a reporter tried to trap him with a question about trusting the Oval Office. Carney delivered this cold reality check.
Prime Minister Carney, do you trust Donald Trump? And can Australia trust Donald Trump?
Well, certainly, the facts are we're in a position where Canada has a comprehensive free trade agreement with the United States. There's certain protocols under that agreement. If temporary tariffs or other tariffs are put in place, those have not been followed. So that agreement effectively has been broken in the short term by U.S. actions.
There you have it. No diplomatic apologies, no begging Washington for exemptions. This is how Canada is neutralizing the ultimate economic weapon. The agreement was broken. So, Ottawa is writing new rules. In just 48 hours, the Canadian Prime Minister executed a massive financial shift. He changed the global trade map without making a single threat. He secured a multi-billion-dollar energy framework in India. He immediately touched down in Sydney. He brought the hard numbers to prove Canada's new leverage, a $500 billion defense strategy, a combined $25 billion for critical minerals, direct access to $7 trillion in Australian capital. Canada is no longer waiting for American approval. Instead of hoping for a tariff exemption, Ottawa is actively building a massive financial firewall in the Indo-Pacific. This is how a middle power completely shifts the global power dynamic. Washington talks about disruption. Ottawa expands its global reach. Trump escalates border pressure. Carney signs sovereign deals. The stakes have never been higher. A 25% tariff would normally crush a neighboring economy. But Canada is pivoting fast. Ottawa recently slashed domestic corporate tax rates to a highly competitive 13%. Now, they are securing allied capital abroad. The leverage is shifting rapidly. Carney signaled that Canada does not need to chase Washington for trust. Washington needs to follow the formal process to re-establish trust with Canada. This is a massive change in posture. In the past, a Canadian leader facing tariffs might have hedged. They might have offered immediate concessions to the White House. Carney offered nothing. He simply stated the reality. By refusing to take the media bait, Carney keeps the focus strictly on his primary weapon, and that weapon is raw, undeniable global capital. Moving from the press room to the Australian Parliament, Carney laid out his master plan. He did not spend his historic address complaining about trade wars. He focused entirely on the raw materials that power the modern global economy: critical minerals, lithium, uranium, iron ore. The exact resources that both Washington and Beijing desperately need to fuel their future industries. Canada and Australia hold the keys to these vital markets. Together, they are completely unmatched. Carney knows exactly how to use this leverage. This is how he laid out the numbers to the Parliament.
Together, we produce 1/3 of global lithium, 1/3 of global uranium, 40% of iron ore. In fairness, that's largely you. But we'll take credit for it. And we have a combined war chest right now of $25 billion to fast-track global projects. Globally, we're 1 and 2 in the most attractive we're 1 and 2 as the most attractive mining investment jurisdictions in the world. We are the world's critical mineral superpowers.
A $25 billion combined war chest. That is a staggering financial commitment. It is designed to fast-track global projects. It secures vital supply chains completely outside of American control. If Washington wants to raise border costs, Ottawa and Canberra will simply control the supply of the future. Canada and Australia together produce 1/3 of global lithium. They produce 1/3 of global uranium. They are the top 2 mining investment destinations on the planet. Now, they are officially aligning Australia's strategic reserves with Canada's defense stockpiles. They are forming a formidable G7 critical minerals alliance. This move limits the impact of any single U.S. trade barrier. It forces global capital and technology companies to flow through Canadian and Australian corridors. Trump threatens tariffs. Carney secures the entire supply chain. But the strategy goes much deeper than minerals and mining. It extends to sovereign security and advanced technology. Carney used this platform to announce Canada's first-ever defense industrial strategy. He put the massive price tag right on the table for the world to see. $500 billion over the next decade. $500 billion invested directly in security, resilience, and sovereign capabilities. This includes heavy investments in artificial intelligence, sovereign AI infrastructure. Carney specifically stated that Canada and Australia will not allow themselves to be caught between the massive tech monopolies and the great power hegemons. That is a direct, calculated signal to the Oval Office. Canada will build its own digital infrastructure. Ottawa is launching new Canadian satellite constellations. They are linking up with Australia's advanced over-the-horizon radar networks. They are physically, digitally, and economically bypassing the traditional reliance on the American tech umbrella. They are creating independent capabilities. They are building a system where American tech giants cannot dictate terms to Canadian industries. Yet, the most calculated move of the entire Indo-Pacific trip was about liquid capital. Carney understands the math. To survive a sudden 25% cross-border tariff, you need deep, untouchable financial reserves. You need allied money. He did not look to New York or Wall Street for this capital. He looked directly to Sydney. Australia holds one of the largest pools of retirement capital on the planet, the superannuation funds. Carney pointed directly at this massive financial asset. He called it a strategic force multiplier. Listen to exactly how he framed this financial shift.
We have the ability that others might think they have but don't. We have the ability to sustain openness to cross-border capital flows. Our pension funds and your supers constitute one of the largest pools, soon to be the largest pools of capital in the world, at present nearly $7 trillion under management. This is a strategic asset for our citizens and future generations, particularly in a riskier world where it will increasingly matter who owes whom and who owns what.
Nearly $7 trillion under management. This is the ultimate financial firewall. Carney is actively rewriting bilateral tax and investment treaties to funnel that massive Australian capital directly into the Canadian market. This is exactly how you bypass American market volatility. You secure guaranteed, long-term capital from a highly trusted ally. When access to traditional U.S. capital is weaponized, Canada opens the floodgates to Indo-Pacific wealth. Already the results are showing. During this trip, massive Australian institutional investors stepped up. The IFM announced their intention to invest up to $10 billion directly into Canada. This is real money moving across the globe to bypass U.S. trade friction. This fresh capital replaces the investment lost to trade uncertainty. It stabilizes the Canadian economy. It projects a powerful image of economic independence. Look at the stark contrast in geopolitical strategy unfolding right now. Washington is pulling inward. It is building tariff walls. It relies on immediate economic coercion and unpredictability. Ottawa is expanding outward. It is building massive capital bridges. It relies on long-term alliances and stable economic policies. A hyper-competitive 13% corporate tax rate at home. A $25 billion mineral alliance abroad. Direct access to $7 trillion in fresh global capital. Carney is not trying to fight a chaotic trade war. He is working to make the trade war irrelevant. He is proving that middle powers possess incredible leverage. When united, they create a gravitational pull that even the largest economies cannot easily ignore. This Indo-Pacific pivot is not just a standard diplomatic tour. It is a highly calculated, ruthless financial realignment. It shifts the global balance of power. It creates entirely new supply lines. It effectively isolates the leverage of a single dominant market. Canada is moving fast. The agreements are signed. The money is flowing. The firewall is built. If you want the sharpest objective analysis of the geopolitical shifts and strategies shaping Canada's future, you need to subscribe to Canada SR. We break down the trade deals, the policy shifts, and the real impact of every strategic move on the global chessboard. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Is Canada's strategy of global diversification enough to bypass the impact of U.S. tariffs, or does Washington still hold the ultimate leverage? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.